To order the City Council. It's May 6th. If you'd like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm coming.
Well, wait.
I have questions.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome. Good to see everyone here tonight. We need to start with a roll call. Ms. Harris, will you help us with that?
Yes. Councilmember Hageman is absent, but we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have an agenda before us. Is there any changes that we need to consider? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Welling?
I'll second.
Mr. Perk seconding? One of you? Any discussion on the motion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? We have an agenda. We have the work session minutes for the City Council minutes for April 15th and the work session for April 22nd. Any concerns with those minutes? If not, we will acknowledge those as they've been prepared, and we'll go on to the bills. Got a warrant register, today's date. Questions? If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Sellers on the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling seconding. Any discussion? Discussion on-
Yeah, I got
I'm sorry.
one question.
Good.
Rocco here, or is he gone?
He is at a meeting with
UW.
University of Wyoming is here, so he's there.
I just had some questions. The Axo Extreme Marketing Group, that we pay that bill, how often do we pay that bill?
It's a monthly bill.
Monthly, it's with the Lodging Tax Board, which I'm on, and that's why I'm answering. It's a monthly, but it's through your lodging tax money.
What all do they do for us? Is that just the website?
No, they advertise all our events that we have in town, like the Celtic Festival, stuff like that.
Radio, TV.
Radio, occasionally you'll see it on Fox, you'll see it on KUTV.
Okay, so it's more than just the website?
Yes,
Okay.
and the bylaws say that we have to do most of our advertising outside 50 miles outside of Evanston, because it's trying to get heads in beds, because that's where the money comes from. That's not part of the city funds, that's a separate fund.
Okay.
But it has to go through the city there.
I was just curious. I was like, that's pretty expensive just for a website, so hopefully they were doing more.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is, you're right, but it's more than just that. Good question. That answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Takes care of the bills. We've got the revenue and expenditure report for February.
No, what's that?
Questions, comments, concerns there? If there's none, I'll entertain a motion to approve that report.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll second it.
Mr. Schmidt seconding. Discussion. There's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved as well. Council comments. Mr. Schmidt, what do you have for us tonight, sir?
I just have one thing, Your Honor. I was reading through the WHAM bulletin, and one of the things that I'm not sure if everybody's aware of it, but I'd like to make them aware of it, that Wyoming 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I'll read this from my notes if you don't mind, please. In 2026, a semi-quintessential grant program is available, and it'll support initiatives focused on strategic planning, public arts, monuments, exhibits, culture, and historical preservation and other areas designated to showcase Wyoming's significant contributions to American history. The deadline will be December 31st of this year, and it's open to local government, public education, nonprofit organizations, state and Arapahoe councils. And I just would like to suggest either our Evanston Historical Preservation takes advantage of it, or Chamber of Commerce.
Your Honor, Mika Madrid has got a committee going for how many months now? Ms. Cook's on it. And we've been planning this countywide, and I think they've applied for those grant funds.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so
Yeah,
I just
so,
wanted to mention it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It'll be they're planning big things, so. Wendy Schuler is one of the chairs from the state, so.
Mr. Lind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing, just I'm hoping the warm weather, I hope summer falls on a weekend this year. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They might have already, is the sad part.
I have nothing today, Your
Nothing?
Honor.
Mr. Welling.
Just condolences to the Matthews family for Dustin's loss. He was a huge part of getting the splash pad, and also president of Cowboy Days, and really elevated a lot of the activities of Cowboy Days, and a remarkable young man going over the hurdles he had in life. So just condolences to the Matthews family and their loss. So other than that, I have nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Sellers.
I'll ditto that on Dustin. He was a remarkable young guy with all his challenges. Just a couple things. The Evanston High School is doing a dinner theater. My wife and I went last week. The students did a really nice job, and the home ec, or one of the groups, organization, the high school did the dinner, and they had these little tin things, and they were really, really good. And overall, if you're looking for just kind of a night out and something to do, they're 8th, 9th, and 10th this week is when they're at. I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. It's I think it's the hardest job in the world, is being a mom. I think kids turn to moms when things are down, and so moms, I think, catch the worst of everything. And then also this Saturday was National Day of Prayer, was May 1st, but we did a program in Evanston this Saturday. Salvation Army kind of chairs some things up with that, but it was really good to see multiple denominations come together, and there was the father of our local father Catholic gave the main prayer for that, but there was prayer and participation from the LDS Church, from the Episcopal Church, and the Troop 911 did a really wonderful job. So it was a good thing for our community. That's all I have.
Thank you. I don't think I can add other than just to say amen. I agree with everything that was said, so we'll leave it at that, and we'll move on. We have no public hearings or special orders. We do have 2 items on our consent agenda. Are you comfortable with leaving those together?
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah, they're kind of an annual
I
thing.
think they're an annual thing, and they're kind of connected, at least by some names, so I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling with a motion.
Beat him.
Is there a second?
Can't beat him.
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers, am I missing something over here?
You gotta be fast if you get in front of Mr. Welling over there. No, these softball tournaments bring a lot of people from out of town, though. I think they're...
I just hate awkward pauses. Bring a lot of people to town.
Absolutely they do. Good events. We got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved. We have no unfinished business. We'll go to new business, and our first item there is a motion, or entertain a motion to approve an award a bid for 3 new trucks for the police department. Are you, Mr. Stahl, are you here representing? Is there anything you'd like us to know about? I think we're aware of what we're doing here. If you want to tell us what I think I was encouraged, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm encouraged, I believe I heard that the low bidder on these particular trucks was a local dealership, is that correct?
Local dealership.
Excellent, that is cool. Anything you want us to know besides that?
Just the other ones that submitted bids were either too expensive or outside the bid specifications, so.
Okay, excellent.
When this, you went to CDJR, is that what it is?
That's the old Yeti.
It's the old Yeti.
That's
the
the
Evanston
original.
Motor Building.
Okay,
They're up there.
gotcha.
What's the
Yeah, that's what that stands for, okay.
timeline to get these trucks, or they have them on the lot, do you know?
Don't believe they're on the lot. I think they're ways out, but we need to capture the bid while we,
Any past experiences and indications, usually a couple of months.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think.
6.
Is there a motion to approve this bid?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Sellers?
I'll second.
Mr. Lynn, second?
Can I get in? I'll
Yeah,
second.
hey, I heard you. I got you written down here. Any discussion?
No, it's nice to see one of our local dealerships get the bid, though.
Further discussion? If no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That's approved, thank you. A motion to enter into a rental agreement with Vermeer Mountain West for a horizontal grinder. Mr. Robinson, what on earth do you do with a horizontal grinder, other than grind horizontally?
Not vertically.
A horizontal grinder is a semi-trailer sized machine that will chew up our massive wood pile that we've collected over at the yard waste event.
Okay.
Again, last time we did it was 5 years ago. Thompson Logging come and did it for us at that time. They no longer have their machine,
Oh.
so we had to go somewhere else. South and Jones has one, and they would give it to us for 30 grand and a new clutch in it. So this rental is less than that, and the only other nearby one we could get, if you want to call it nearby, was from Gillette at 4 times this cost. So we had to go through with this one in Salt Lake, but it's just time to chip up that wood pile again and make it usable for recycling, composting.
I was out there a week or so ago, and that pile, it's been 5 years since we've done
It
that.
has,
It's
yeah.
been that long? I didn't realize it'd been that long. But the pile's getting big, there's no question.
The last time we did it was after that huge windstorm in 2020 when we
Oh.
lost all the trees in town.
Yeah, okay.
We did it after that, and we've just been collecting over there. The yard waste thing has become a little jewel for the city of Evanston. I think it's been very handy for people to drop that yard waste off over there and be able to get the compost and the wood chips.
Was there any trees that, well, I know of one little small tree that came down last night, but was there any other trees that came down last night with the winds the last
No.
couple of days? Okay,
No, we didn't lose any. so,
okay.
And then we sell all this stuff, right? Or-
Yes. Yeah, we
Just so
sell the
the
wood
ci-
chips, we sell the compost.
Yeah,
If
for
we don't
everybody.
sell the wood chips, we mix them in the compost mix and they get rid of them. And mainly we're stopping all that from going to the landfill.
No, I love that, and just for people that don't know, now getting started on their spring cleaning and spring yard work, so.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion on this rental agreement.
I'll make,
Make motion.
uh,
Sorry.
You're getting closer. And I'll wait. Mr. Lynn, do you want to second that?
I'll second. Just try and get a smile out of everybody over there.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, it's,
Keeps it out of the landfill.
Any project?
reuses it.
There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Thank you. Need to consider awarding a bid for the Evanston Transmission Pipeline 2022. Mr. Newsom.
Good afternoon, good evening, I guess. Yeah, ultimately, this is for a project that's been in play for quite a while. It originated back in, I want to say, the fall of 2022 for a water transmission line that would go from E Hill to the Twin Ridge tank. Bids were opened on the 16th of April, with the apparent low bid being BH Incorporated.
Okay, I think well, I'll entertain a motion, and then we can discuss it if we need to. I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid for the transmission pipeline.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Land with the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second to Your Honor.
Second, Mr. Perks. Discussion.
I remember being on the committee when they first started looking at this stuff. How's this project coming along? I guess kind of a top view. We're on schedule, going well. A lot of bumps in the road.
In my time here, there has been some hurdles, that state property easement, how we were going to connect to the water tower or the actual water tank. All those things got vetted, and finally the design has been able to be put out to bid. So assuming we get approval on this, the contracts will get sent to the contractor with the anticipation that'll be done by the end of October. So,
And JUB still on this?
yeah, JUB was our professional service company that did the design and whatnot. So it's not going to be an easy project. Coming down some of the roads and some of the utilities that we got on Sioux, there will be some challenges. But in the end, this was a project that was one of the top level projects out of the water master plan study that was done in 19 and 20. So it has a very good purpose.
This should help for any growth in our community eventually, right? Or is it just more to clean up?
It's twofold. It'll help get water to our tank a lot better. Right now, there's very constricting lines through that whole run that it's got to force itself through, or this will be one dedicated transmission line. And then the existing line stays in play, and then it can be tapped onto as development occurs through there. So.
Okay.
Have we worked with this BH Inc. and Corp?
I have not. JUB in other projects that they're associated with have, and they've had positive comments to them, but I don't know as if we have seen them.
And they're a Wyoming company too, right?
Rock Springs.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Before Damon's time, we had worked on a couple of projects, so, and they were great.
Okay, thank you.
So will this project help with future growth?
Yeah, like I said, the line itself is one dedicated transmission line from the water treatment facility to the tank. But what that does allow is further connections onto a line that is trying to distribute and transmit water that is currently in the ground. So yes, it does have positive benefit for growth as well.
Thank you.
Further discussion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Thank you. We now need to consider a resolution to that effect. Mr. Harris, will you read that title for us, please? 2518.
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution 2518 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of an agreement with BH Inc. for the completion of all work required for construction of the Evanston Transmission Pipeline 2022 project.
Thank you, sir. Anything more on this
No.
Mr. Newsom? Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with the motion pass.
Mr. Sellers with the motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Welling seconding. Any discussion?
Just been a long time coming. It'll be good to have it done.
That will.
Yeah. From the master plan till now, we're talking 5 years, but that's the work we do.
No further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved, thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 2519, Mr. Harris, read that title for us, please.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2519 is a resolution of the governing body of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, setting green fees and other related fees for the Purple Sage Municipal Golf Course for the 2025 golf season.
Ms.
Okay.
Larson?
Mayor,
Welcome.
Council, Kim Larson with Evanston Parks and Rec. This is just approving the 2025 changes of the golf fees. Do you guys have this?
Yep, I think so. Yep.
Spreadsheet? Okay, on the right-hand side, under 2025 column, in the orange is what we have increased, mainly related to carts. That decision being to offset some of the costs that we just added with the new GPS system. And then I know there were some questions regarding the trail fee and the second rider fee. And we were talking about maybe some wording changes in this, which is.
I think all you need to put in there is private trail fee here, which is, what is it under here, $250, private storage fee, $355, and then just leave it at that, is what I think needs to be done. The way the wording,
Yeah, I agree. The
and
wording.
if we want to talk about a second rider fee, we might be here 30 or 40 minutes, but I think that needs to be left off of there. So I think.
Second rider fee?
I think you just clarify private cart trail fee and private storage fee, private cart storage fee. And those two fees should be $250 and $355, and then the rest of it should read just fine, is what I recommend.
Okay, and then let me just let you know what I've been taught about the second rider fee. So sorry, I have notes here. This is what I've been told and taught. So basically, the private cart, say I own a private cart, I pay for storage, and then I also pay for a trail fee. There's two sides of this argument. There's one that say it's, I paid the trail fee, I paid for my cart storage, anybody should be able to jump in with me. And the other side of that argument was you lose money with anyone jumping in, because otherwise they would be charging $23 per person for 18 holes. And I was told back in the days with Dennis Papinga, it was either we add this rider fee or we get rid of private carts. So then I clarified on this sheet, because it said second rider fee on here. So to me, that means whoever jumps in is a second rider. But then I was told that's immediate family members, not just anyone. So I guess the argument on that side would be you're losing money for people just jumping into private carts rather than them renting the cart themselves. And I really don't have a very strong opinion either way. I did some quick, rough math. I mean, if you're looking at every single private cart, taking out one extra person 2 times a week for 4 months out of the year, you're talking about $14,000. And that's like a lot, I think, of probably extra rider fee. If you half that, 7,000 is what you would be missing out on income.
So then, now that you've explained it that way, I would like to explain it the other way. Think about this in a sense of if you were to pay your taxes to drive on roads, and then you go out and you go buy your own cart, or your own car, fill it full of gas, maintain it, pay for insurance on it, all of that stuff, so that you can drive it on those roads you pay taxes on, and then have the government come to you and say, okay, you know what, people aren't using public transportation enough, we're actually going to tax you on top of that. So if you have anybody else riding your car with you, we're going to charge you an additional tax. I think it's a little bit too much when you get charged the trail fee, the storage fee. On top of that, the reason we have that a cart agreement as a club, and I'm speaking as a club member, is because when this whole agreement with the golf course and the city occurred, the club that owned it privately gave the city the existing 9 holes and the land to go with it. That would be valued right now at probably $3 to $4 million that was just given to the city. So it was a partnership with the city and the club, and it was given land and existing 9 holes. And the only thing that was expected in return was a cart agreement, which this addresses the fact that we can store carts as a private citizen, you know, as a private member, and you can drive your cart out there as a member, but you can only have a certain amount. So it's limited by the number. But that was part of the give back to the city, to the club, when that initial land was given to the city for them to help develop an 18-hole golf course. So that probably brought down, in that time, it's probably $1 million or $2 of land, but it also butted up to city land, so it worked really well versus the city trying to find attractive land and build from scratch a golf course. So there was 2 things that the club got. They got a cart agreement and they got a memorandum of understanding. Those are the 2 things that the club got in return for donating that land to the city. If we were to charge a cart pass, a storage fee, and a second rider fee, that would be $610 plus another, what, $225, I think is what they're talking about. So you're talking about,
So I'm sorry, you said the
610.
storage fee for $355, the annual trail fee for $250, and what was the third one you said?
so if you pay the trail fee, the storage fee, and the second rider fee, which is exactly what you're trying to charge for the family golf annual rental, which means anybody can ride in that cart from the club, if you rent it from the city, that's $750. If you factor in all 3 of those, which is $610 plus another $225, which is $835, you're actually in violation of the MOU of a 20% discount that the membership's supposed to get. As a matter of fact, you're charging over what it would be for the family golf annual rental as well. So you're in violation of MOU. You're also, I think, triple dipping on somebody that's private property. And there's a cart storage fee, or cart storage agreement that was given in good faith to the club in donation of, you know, $1 million or $2 million in land and a golf course. So I think the storage fee and the trail fee is enough. I think the second rider fee is trying to milk the club for money to pay for public carts that the people driving their private cart don't get to benefit from that GPS. So that's
And with,
the whole scope of
I
what
don't
I think,
have
so.
those MOU numbers off the top of my head, but with all due respect, Councilman Lind, and with all due respect to, you know, my former boss and mentor of the golf course, you know, I've learned from him. I probably would feel more comfortable if the council told me one way or another to go.
And Scott and I have gone the rounds and gone the rounds and gone the rounds.
I know.
So
What,
whatever
just
the
for-
council decides.
Just for my, I'm reading this as you're talking, as both you're talking, I'm reading on this chart, and maybe I'm missing something. The second rider fee, where is that addressed on this document in front of me? Is it somewhere on there that I'm not recognizing and are not seeing it either?
It's on that other.
It's on the fee schedule. It's not on that one.
So this fee schedule has both the member cart storage and the trail fee. And I think it matches up with this. I think the wording could have been changed a bit because it said private cart, second rider, annual trail fee.
That's
The
what
way
I'm
it was
saying, it's not
explained
on
to
this.
me, I feel like it
on
would
that, no.
read better if it said private car, immediate family annual trail fee, because
I think
immediate
I think
family,
if that fee schedule read exactly like that other piece of paper you have, I think we'd be just fine.
See, the fee schedule that he's looking at, that number is the one I do for the budget. And so there's been on there a private cart second rider annual trail fee that was not, under my understanding, immediate family. And that's what Jesse's getting at, is he doesn't understand why that should be there.
Well, let me ask you this. What we're doing here is changing a few of these prices. Now, this second rider fee and all those are not included in, or are they? Are they included
they
in
did
this?
go
Because I don't
up.
see any changes that would be,
the storage fee went up from $330 to $355, and the trail fee, private car trail fee went from $225 to $250 a year.
but your argument is typically more directed toward the second rider fee. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correct?
Yeah, I mean, raising the trail fee and the storage fee, I mean, every once in a while they raise that just because, but the second rider fee, and it all depends on who you talk to, but at the end of the day, I think it's just squeezing the membership way too hard and trying to squeeze extra money out of the membership when that's not what the membership's there for.
Mr. Harris, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, what you have that was attached to your resolution is, as Ms. Larson indicated, the orange are the changes.
Right.
You don't have this second rider fee because it wasn't changed.
It wasn't changed.
However, as the treasurer indicated, you're going to see those fees as part of the budget resolution.
Right.
So if there's a movement or move to change those, that would be when the budget resolution is considered. Okay? This just takes care of the changes in orange to those fees.
Yeah.
Since the second rider fee was not changed, that's why it's not in this resolution.
And we're doing these fee changes right now so they can charge those right now.
Yeah.
Because our budget doesn't go into
Right.
that.
That's where I was going with this. I appreciate that. We're talking about this right now so that we can get ahead of the budget, do this to get going on the golf
I should have
season.
been here in March, to be honest.
And then we will have another discussion with the budget in general.
Right.
That would be a very good time to talk about those
I
concerns.
want to take off the second rider fee because it's currently in our fee schedule.
Right.
I would like it off the fee schedule, yes, but I'm all for what all of the other changes, that's fine.
The changes she has tonight is.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then it's certainly a topic for conversation when
very
we are in the throes of budget discussions.
You guys have any other questions?
I would like so Mr. Linda's saying that there might be some conflict with the MOU. Is there a way I can get a copy? Maybe somebody else wants a copy of the MOU so we can compare and make sure that we're within line?
Certainly, it's
I'll make
available.
sure, I'll send it out to the whole council.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
And I believe it says it's in the amendment. It would be the first or second amendment to the MOU that clarifies the percentage of the discount that the membership gets over city fees, or under city fees.
Something to talk about when we get a little further into the budget, absolutely.
Sounds great.
Let's see, where am I? We still need an introduction. Is there an introduction on this Resolution 2519?
I'll introduce the motion to pass, Your Honor.
Willing. The motion, is there a second?
I'll second,
Lynn
since I was a pain in the butt.
No, I really
Good questions.
Any further discussion? We got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved.
Thanks, Kim.
Ordinance 2502, Mr. Harris, please.
Your Honor, if we could read in 2502 and 2503 together, they do apply to the same property.
Absolutely. Please. Yes.
Ordinance 2502 is an ordinance approving and authorizing a zone change for property in the city of Evanston from low-density residential developing, highway business developing, and community business developing to high-density residential developing as requested by GTR Property Holdings LLC of the land more particularly described herein. Ordinance 2503 is an ordinance approving and authorizing a zone change for property in the city of Evanston from low-density residential developing to medium density residential developing as requested by GTR Property Holdings LLC of land more particularly described herein. Mayor and council, both of these ordinances are sponsored by Councilor Schmidt.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Jacobson?
Yes. Excuse me, let me, one of these have to advance it forward. There we go. So the property that's proposed for the zone change is located at 175 Wasatch Drive. It does include 3 parcels of land, as you can see, highlighted in the kind of orangey yellow color. I will note that's not included in the staff report, I believe, but a couple of years ago, we did approve a ordinance to annex property that's in that lower triangular area next to Wasatch Drive in the lower T-shaped corner. So, yeah, that has been completed.
Is there any reason they didn't annex that little square piece? Or rectangular?
Area here.
Yeah.
You can kind of see there's kind of orange outline.
Yeah, still not annexed.
Yeah, showing that's, this is a county map server map.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, there's still some documents that would need to be filed to complete that.
Okay.
But the approval has gone through with the city council for that annexation. So this property is 16.31 acres in total. Existing properties, adjacent properties includes the Knights Inn. I think the Knights Inn has gone through a name change. Located across Wasatch Drive to the south, there are some vacant properties to the south, of which, coming up on the zoning map, you'll see there are some variations in zoning on the south side from industrial to highway business. And you have some residential uses, of course, to the west along Independence and Colonial, to the north on Freedom and Liberty. You have the Purple Sage PUD, Phase 1, that was constructed in the northeast corner, just adjacent to the highlighted properties. And you have some medium-density residential development, Constitution Apartments, those developments along Constitution Avenue, and some low-density residential developments a little bit further east, adjacent to the golf course. So the 2010 comprehensive plan shows future land use. I'd probably start off by adding the 2010 plan has gone through some amendments over time with this property. Initially, the 2010 comprehensive plan showed that area that's shown in the pink area as community business, as a low-density residential land use. At a point in the past, I believe it was 2005, it had been rezoned. The land use plan had been changed to community business, and the property was rezoned to community business as well. So there's been some history with this property and quite a few changes that have occurred. So presently, the 2010 plan does show that area that's highlighted in red, subject property, as community business. You got a piece of it that's highway business, showing in the dark purple and yellow as low-density residential established. The applicant is proposing an amendment to the 2010 comprehensive plan, and if the zone change, the ordinance reaches third reading, you will see a resolution on the agenda at that time for the change in the master plan. Current zoning kind of reflects what the 2010 plan shows right now as community business developing along the front. Highway business still along the north side of Wasatch Drive, and low-density residential developing. The comprehensive plan I'll add to has indicated that future land use for this area was anticipated to develop as a low-density residential land use. The applicant is proposing this change in zoning. The dark orange areas is the areas that are proposed to be changed to a high-density residential developing zone. The lighter shade areas to the northwest side of the property would be the areas proposed for a medium-density residential developing zone. And this will kind of give you a little bit better view of it. There is a development plan that's been submitted, which the zone change is connected to a subdivision proposal. There may be some minor revisions to the subdivision, but the street layouts and likely for the most part the lot layout will likely remain pretty close to what you're seeing there. The boundary description for the zone change does follow the boundaries of the roads and lot lines within the proposed subdivision. What's being proposed is larger lots coming off of Wasatch Drive that would be developed with multifamily dwellings, and the smaller lots towards the north, which be left on the screen, would be developed with a mix of residential uses, single family, two-family attached dwellings on those lots. Those smaller lots they're about 8,000 square feet in size. Some of the larger lots for the multifamily dwellings range up to about 29,169 square feet, I think is the largest lot that they have. We did ask the developer to provide some, jump back a little bit again. This is like the third or fourth version of the subdivision proposal. It's gone through a lot of review with staff, with YDOT, with street connections on Constitution and Wasatch, and looping the road in the back, fire access, that type of thing. So in some of the earlier versions, we did some mock-ups of what you might see, and I think the next slide is kind of the housing proposal that's he's kind of looking at. So this would be a two-family attached dwelling, two-car garage for each unit. Our city code does require two parking spaces on the site. That's not within the street or front side yards of the property. Then you can see the floor plans for the two-car garage, single-family attached dwelling. Submitted one with a single-car garage, something like this, and that they would need to come up with an additional parking space on the lot, but it could be doable. Here's an example of what you might see as a multifamily dwelling, and the height is a little over, it's just about 32 feet in height. So each half of the I divided the building in half with the dimensions because, as you'll see, when we come up on the site development plans I put together, here's a typical 8,000 square foot lot. And that this is what you might see as far as a single-family home being constructed on a single-family lot. To the right would be a two-family attached, each building being on its own lot and meeting those open space requirements. I believe in that particular example, they were a little bit short of the open space requirement, so they may need to make some adjustments. There are some indentations to the footprint of the plan, so this was just kind of an overall footprint. With the actual footprint of the building, they may be able, I mean, they're also close. They may be able to meet the open space requirement with one of the plans that they had submitted. So that's a possibility. So we got into looking at multifamily dwellings and how they might fit on the lots. I mentioned that I took the dimensions, split the multifamily dwelling in half. I did that because some of the lots that they had shown early on, you would not be able to provide a full-size building and required on-site parking. For multifamily dwelling, they would need to provide an on-site parking lot for a multifamily development. There was one of the larger lots that they possibly could place a 12-plex on and require parking. However, the usable open space requirement per dwelling unit in a high-density residential zone is 2,000 square feet. They would not be able to meet that open space requirement, even on the larger lot in this example that, or early example that we put together. So you might see, we're not reviewing the subdivision proposal tonight. It's whether or not it makes sense to change zoning from highway business developing, community business developing, low-density residential developing to a residential, a little bit higher residential land use than what was originally proposed in the master plan. So April 7th, the Planning Commission held a public hearing to review the proposed changes to the zoning map and the comprehensive plan. Having considered the staff report and testimony offered at the public hearing, the Planning Commission found the proposed changes to the zoning map, comprehensive plan to be compatible with surrounding land uses, and unanimously voted to forward a positive recommendation. It did include with the staff report some of the items of discussion from the Planning Commission meeting. We did have a few people that showed up from the surrounding neighborhood that expressed some concerns. There was opposition expressed to developing additional multifamily dwellings, apartment buildings within this area. There was discussion regarding access. YDOT approves access to Wasatch Drive. With only one access point, it does result in larger, deeper lots. So the applicant saying the larger, deeper lots really don't lend themselves to a single-family development. Kind of lends itself better to a multifamily, something a little bit larger to fit in there. Let's see, resident or residents within the Purple Sage PUD Phase 1. So that's that area to the north, that northeast corner of the development. They expressed, I'm going to go back to the map there. I can. kind of indicate. They expressed a desire to extend Benjamin Franklin Street and have a second access off of Constitution Avenue. Another street extension connecting to Constitution Avenue to place that very close to this proposed street access. They would need to at least, with the developer density proposal, they need to at least have 2 access points in and out of that type of development. So there are some challenges with having roads that close together, and that any access point off of Constitution Avenue would be reviewed, approved. You'd receive some comments from Damon Newsom regarding that. The access point off of Wasatch Road, YDOT has reviewed that. They're going to hold them to that, pretty much that exact location for that. It's directly right across from the existing approach to the hotel.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harris, do we need to hold any kind of a public hearing at this level at all tonight for this, or
Pardon?
do we need to hold any kind of a public hearing at all here?
But you can certainly take any public comment.
I thought about doing that. Is there anyone here that is got some concerns or comments about this particular development? Please, if you will, come up. Go ahead.
Sure. Greg Wilson, 104 Broken Circle Drive.
Yes, sir.
My question is, how many units are you put in here? Do you have a number?
It's not a proposal, but there's, there was not a number.
That would, sir, that would probably be addressed with the subdivision process alone. This is just for the zone change, the property zoning, so there's more, yeah.
How big it really is?
I don't know that they've nailed that down just yet.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? And it's my understanding, Mr. Schmidt, you're sponsoring both of these ordinances, so I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2502 on first reading.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Perks with the motion and Mr. Welling seconding. Any discussion?
I just have one question.
Please.
Is there any green space provided in this development for, you know, for the homes and so on? As far as, I don't know about parks or anything like that, but I mean, areas for...
That's something that may be considered. The developer applicant, they are proposing to develop this as as city streets to our city standards. With this is a major subdivision. With a major subdivision, there is a cash in lieu requirement or a land dedication requirement for public space, public use.
Centennial Park is really close to that area, so it's just down the street. So
Is that Benjamin Franklin Street? That's a city street?
Benjamin Franklin Street is a private street.
That is private?
Yes.
Okay, so that would make sense why they're not trying to connect it to these other ones?
Right.
Yeah, there was concerns about if they connected the city streets to those private streets, there's that possibility of increasing traffic on those private streets, wear and tear.
Yep.
And that, so yeah, they're
Okay,
proposing
I
to
was just
separate.
curious why the
things.
connection wasn't made.
And is it correct that it's being changed from commercial property now to housing? Or
So the front part showing in the purple shades, yeah, those are the commercial areas. Within that red outlined area, that would be changed to, yeah, your, pretty much your high-density residential zones for those commercial areas.
At one time,
Part of that section was a mobile home park, if I remember right. And so did we change it from residential to highway business, and then now we're changing it back, or how does that work?
No, the zoning for the property has always been highway business along the two sides.
So the mobile home park sat farther back.
Further back, way back.
This area here was zoned low-density residential development. There was a proposal for a storage unit being placed in there, required a change in zoning to highway business, and we had taken it through that review, and on first reading, City Council at that time did not approve zone change. So he came back and looked at something a little bit more restrictive in a commercial district. There's a proposal to develop the back end as the Purple Sage PUD, and within that community business developing area, he was looking at doing a kind of a strip mall that would serve that kind of general area, neighborhood.
Dwayne, so there, I know a lot about the utilities in that area of town, just saying. And I can tell you those utilities down where that trailer court was are as crappy as all the utilities that I've replaced over the years up on the street. They are planning on doing new water lines, new sewer lines, or they're not going to try to hook on.
Yeah, everything would, new water lines, water mains, sewer mains. Yes, it would all be new and done to city standards.
I just think would have a disaster if they tried to resurrect any of that old stuff.
Any further discussion?
Do we have any concerns with making that residential where nothing else, it's all commercial? What main road is that? That's
actually the 20
Wyoming.
pulling residential out towards Wasatch.
Wasatch is what I was trying to say. Yeah, do we have concerns with putting residential up against Wasatch? I guess it's just a question. Do we have concerns about that?
Yeah, the comprehensive plan actually encouraged that residential use to expand towards that, using Wasatch Drive as a buffer between those commercial uses south of Wasatch Drive on the other side of the street. I think it would lend it more of a neighborhood feel, and that give it some identity as a residential neighborhood. Right now it's kind of tucked behind a lot of commercial land uses.
So we'd look more to move most of those residential versus stay commercial. I mean, if you were to look at that, that's ideally what you would say? As it disappeared right as I'm talking? That's perfect. So what you're saying is like the stuff with Wasatch, ideally you would like to see that move more residential than stay commercial on both sides of Wasatch?
I think at least along that frontage of that neighborhood.
Okay. Because I think what Workforce Services is that still in that building?
Yeah,
we're still there, yeah.
And then
Workforce Services.
We'd love to have neighbors.
Gases
Plus is on that other side over there.
And Gases Plus on the other side.
Wouldn't we? We'd love to have neighbors down there. It's a big vacant weed pile, so.
I just have one more question. Are there any concerns about, the residential being up to Wasatch Drive for, safety as far as, you're going to have children and all that in that area with the heavy traffic that's going to be in a commercial area. Would that be a concern?
It is I believe, a minor arterial street, 40-mile-per-hour street. So, yeah, there should be some considerations.
We would be putting them closer to Dave, though.
So, Councilman Smith, the danger area in that is if you go down Constitution, is that retaining wall. I mean, that is scary, and that's one of my concerns, and I don't know if I'm actually allowed to vote on this one or not, but is I see many near misses of people going from Constitution out onto Wasatch, especially that left-hand turn right there and the increased traffic, if that other road there's a lot of kids that play on Constitution. And if you look, especially on the north end of those places on the north end, there is no yard. So they're like out in the road, which I think that street's a little bit to the south of that, but because there's times a day that the Constitution is the drag strip of Evanston. There's people go down there 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So that would be a concern of mine of how that would all work out and play out. That safety concern. I'm not opposed to putting in the lots or doing that. I just want to make sure we're meeting the safety concerns.
That's your retaining wall.
I think you got a valid point.
I only speed down Constitution if I'm late for a tea time, Mike.
Yeah,
That's the only time I'm speeding down.
I was at one time told that retaining wall belonged to the state, and then I was told it was mine, so.
There you go. Stick with that.
If you don't mind, I'll add to that. The one access from YDOT is the one and only, and so part of the logic was to keep those higher densities up front to where some of that traffic would be utilizing that Wasatch Road access more so than the Constitution. But given the size of that development and the need for multiple accesses, it ultimately had to go to Constitution for at least an outlet for emergency services and just a little release, but they will only give the one by their access manual, so.
Well, if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain, I guess we got a motion and a second. All in favor of approval on ordinance 2502 on first reading, indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That is approved. And now I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2503 on first reading.
I'll make a motion, Your Honor.
I'll second it.
Motion, Mr. Welling seconding. Discussion here. I guess similar discussion, similar concerns. Discussion?
I think the zones, I think it fits. My only concern was, bringing it that close to Wasatch, but other than that, I think it's a good fit.
I do too. It's a good area that we need to have some infill. Yeah. So I'm all for it.
If there's no further, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Comments from departments. Mr. Newsom, do you have anything more for us tonight, sir? Mr. Robinson? Carson? Ms. Lim? Anything more from the police department? Mr. Stahl? Ms. Harris?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Public participation. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason?
That's why we have taxes, always the third one.
Kathy Cook, 912 Main. First of all, we can't hear you back here at all, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Try to speak
But
louder.
In about 3 weeks, I've been assigned to let everyone know that we're having a historic preservation open house in the Roundhouse, and it's on May 29th from 6 to 8. I went last year, it was awesome, so. If anybody wants anything closer to their businesses, come talk to me. Thank you.
What did you, hang on, so what did you call that? A historic preservation what?
Open house.
Open house. Okay, I saw the poster, but I didn't.
Yeah, so they had one of these last year. I don't know how many they've had, but it was awesome.
Excellent, thank you.
Sounds like a good event.
Anyone else? If not, we will adjourn. Thank you, everyone.